Growing up, my age never really had the largest impact on me. Granted, you get older as the years go on, but I always felt the same age. Nothing ever really felt that different to me. I always felt generally the same. Last year, in December of 2021, is when that kind of changed. When I turned 20, I definitely felt different. I felt a sense of self. I felt a sense of freedom that I hadn't had before or that I never knew before that. And so that was like the turning point for me, was turning 20. This year, I turned 21 about a week ago, and that freedom has just expanded itself. I feel like I've been afforded some type of like treasure or something now that I'm 21. That sounds weird, but I feel the best I've quite literally ever felt. We all have a general shared idea of what freedom means and what it means to be free. And obviously, growing up, that looks a lot different versus if you're living on your own. So, growing up with my parents, I was lucky enough to have both of my parents, raise me for the latter half of my life. And so, that freedom that I had was pretty decent, I would say, for someone who is growing up. I feel like sometimes it's easy to get stuck on like, my parents are so strict and they never let me do anything. I was grateful, and am grateful that I never really had to deal with that. My parents did allow me to have a lot of freedom, and that kind of manifested itself in like being able to go hang out with friends, hanging out with Michael, my boyfriend, just being able to do things like that. And so that type of freedom was what I was afforded then. But obviously, as you get older, when you move out, when you start doing things on your own more so, then that freedom kind of tends to exponentially get more. And sometimes that can be a bad thing, or sometimes it can be a good thing, depending on what you do with it. So now that I've moved out from my parents' house, now that I'm living on my own, the freedom that I have is greater. However, the responsibility that I take on is also greater. It's like a trade-off. So I pay my own bills for the most part. I mean, my parents do definitely help me out, but I pay my rent. I got a car this year, so I pay my car payment. And so there's other little things that I take care of, adult things that I take care of. And for that sacrifice, I'm also able to have more freedom, aka I can go out whenever I want without having to necessarily inform anybody of where I'm going, because that can that's a thing that you have to deal with when you're growing up. But of course, the more freedom that you have, the more responsibility you have. And so the more dependent you are, the less freedom you should expect, because that trade-off is inevitable. Like, that's biologically how things work. And so the more dependent you are on someone or someone else for something, the less you can expect to be free. After a year from being 20 into 21, I think I understand that trade-off and have more of an appreciation for it, because that's like how I've lived my life for the past year or so. I'll be the first to admit that 21 is really young, and I'm not going to try and pretend like I'm older than I am. And so maybe that disqualifies me from giving certain people advice, but I'm going to do it anyways, because I feel like I have a lot to say for you guys, regardless of the age you are. I'm a firm believer that you are as old as you feel, or you are as young as you feel on the flip. And so regardless of me being 21, I feel so like rejuvenated and like I'm the youngest I've ever been. And like I literally have the whole world at my fingertips. And I think regardless of how old you are, whether it's younger than me, whether it's older than me, regardless, I think you can have that exact same feeling. I think there's this idea, I've seen it on social media, I've also seen it just in our society. There's this idea that when you're a woman specifically, the older you get, the less time you have and the worse things are going to get for you. And I think that's actually awful. I think it's bad. I think it's wrong, because listen, I'm not going to be the person to try and convince you that I'm going to have kids when I'm in my 50s. However, what I will say is there is so much time that you don't realize you have to do certain things. And I think we get kind of bogged down by this clock, the societal clock that's telling us we only have so long to do certain things. And I just don't think that's true. And again, you can tell me, oh, you're only 21. Of course, you have a lot of time. Like, you don't really know that. But before you go there, I have a great example. And that example is through my mom. My mom just turned 57. I hope she does not get mad at me for divulging that. But she just turned 57 this past May. And when I talk to her, when we have conversations, I can tell that she's like the most rejuvenated she's ever felt and the youngest she's ever felt, just because I can feel in the way that she's treating herself, the way she's physically able to do certain things. It just makes me happy for her, and I can tell through her that she feels like she just still has so much life left, and not that she's like, you know, on the wayside or something. And so someone who's 57 and someone who's 21 feeling the same way about life, that should go to show you that it doesn't matter your age, it just matters how you feel and how your mindset is. I have quite a lot of goals, and some of them are more recent goals that I want to do now. Some of them I'm kind of saving for later dates, but they all matter a great deal to me, and I'm passionate about all of them. I love watching movies, and if I could if there was one thing I could do, everything else is null and void, I could just survive, I would probably just watch movies with like people that I love. But just watching movies, and I literally am like obsessed with just doing that. And so I love it. And so that kind of leads into me wanting to create movies and just getting into like short film. And so there's this like community that I just want to immerse myself in right now. I'm just trying to learn and just kind of, it's a broad topic. It's a very large thing. And so I'm just kind of dipping my toes in, trying to understand the entire thing. And that kind of manifests itself in me going on Instagram and like meeting new people, talking to people who are also in the film community. And so that's like what I'm doing right now. And then that would lead, hopefully, to my lofty goal of becoming a movie director. That would be like totally epic. And so that's like one of the things that I'm like on my journey, just slowly but surely getting toward. As for right now, I love creating content in general, whether it be creating YouTube videos or on Instagram. I make a lot of reels on there. I just enjoy doing it, and I think a lot of the people who consistently watch are like, I'm so happy that y'all are here watching this. And so I've also received some DMs just saying like how it's easier to hear someone your age like kind of putting it into perspective, because maybe you don't know how to say it, or maybe I don't know how to say it, so then I go to y'all for advice. So that's just something I really like doing, whether it's advice related or movie related, entertainment related, anything. I just love having this like sense of community, and so I'm gonna keep doing that. That's my goal, is to consistently do that throughout the year. Another one that's coming up rather soon, I graduate from college in May, which is actually insane because I've been waiting for this moment for so long. Like, I don't want to sound dramatic, but it really is a big thing, because just the sense of freedom you feel whenever you've finally finished with something that you feel like you've been doing for so long. I'm just ready to be done. Like, I'm just ready for it to be over so I can not do it anymore. So May, my graduation day, I cannot wait. I'm graduating. That's one thing that I'm really looking forward to. It's so great to know that life always works out the way it's supposed to, and things always go the way they're supposed to. And even the struggles that I have and the things that I go through that I'm like, okay, this really sucks, they're all necessary, because that is what makes us have the strength that we have today. I'm eternally grateful for all of the hardships that I've been through, even all of the easy things, the good days, the bad days. All of it, I think, has culminated into making me who I am today. And being 21 years old, and it just feels good. Life's great. Everything's going amazing. Everything's great. I love y'all. I love everybody. And I hope y'all have a great day. We're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep doing this consistently. You and me having these talks together. And so I can't wait to keep doing that. And y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all later.